All right, welcome to the film room. Grab a seat, lace up your mental boots, and get ready, because today's explainer is going to completely change how you view the modern pitch. We're breaking down the tactical evolution of Brazilian soccer. We'll be looking at how a nation transformed from relying on sheer individual genius into a highly disciplined, high-speed tactical machine. If you're an aspiring player, or honestly just a student of the sport, you absolutely need to understand this progression. We're going to compare the raw, unfiltered brilliance of a 17-year-old Pelé in 1958 with the highly tuned tactical systems of later championship teams.
You know the phrase, o jogo bonito, the beautiful game. It's a universally used nickname for the sport, coined by the king himself, Pelé. But here's the secret most people miss. The actual definition of this beautiful game drastically shifted over 30 years of play. It didn't just stay static. What was beautiful in 1958 was definitely not the same tactical beauty you saw in 1970 or 1982. The game evolved, and player responsibilities shifted dramatically right alongside it.
Okay, let's map out this film session. Here's our roadmap for the explainer. First up, the 1958 Golden Debut. Second, the era of the pure dribbler. Third, the rise of compactness. Fourth, fullbacks as attacking playmakers. And finally, coaching the beautiful game.
Section 1, the 1958 Golden Debut, A King is Born. We start the tape in 1958, the exact moment a 17-year-old kid from Três Corações named Edson Arantes do Nascimento, Pelé, completely demolished the old footballing order.
Just look at the raw output from this tournament. He started the World Cup on the bench, didn't even play until the third group stage game. And get this, before the tournament, the team psychologist tested the players and actually reported that Pelé was obviously infantile and lacked the sense of responsibility for a team game. No way, right? Because his individual brilliance literally carried the squad. He became the youngest scorer, the youngest hat-trick scorer, the youngest finalist, and netted twice in that famous 5-2 final over Sweden. But it wasn't just about his goals. It was about how he and the team actually played the game. Listen up, kid, because if you're going to play up top today, you have got to understand the shadow striker role. This was a monumental shift in player responsibility. Instead of just waiting up front like a traditional static target man, the center forward drops deep into the attacking midfield spot. It links the play, pulls the center backs totally out of position, and utterly confuses the defense. Pelé and his teammate Vavá innovated this exact role right here in '58. Now, what's really fascinating here is the shape of the 1958 Brazilian 4-2-4 formation. Structurally, it required an incredible physical capacity from the wings. Take Zagallo on the left side, for instance. When the team lost possession, he had an absolute motor. He'd sprint back and join the midfield. Then, the second they won it back, he'd bomb right back forward to join the attack. It was a fiercely demanding, dynamic role that laid the complete groundwork for modern two-way wingers. Track this movement for a second. That is your shadow striker dropping right into that midfield gap. By having one of the forwards, whether it was Pelé or Vavá, check back into the midfield, they created numerical superiority in the center of the pitch. It essentially ripped the opponent's defensive spacing apart and created the structural balance that allowed Brazil to lift the trophy. Section 2. Era of the pure dribbler. Individual flair. Let's fast forward a bit to 1962 and see how this builds into an entirely different philosophy, the era of the pure dribbler. You really have to contrast the balance of '58 with the sheer, unfiltered individual dominance of '62. See, Pelé got hurt early in the tournament in Chile. Amarildo stepped in, but the real story? That was Garrincha. This was the true era of the dribbler. The 4-2-4 system was still there on paper, sure, but in reality, Garrincha was given total freedom. He operated out on the right side, just casually dribbling past defenders on the outside, scoring headers, hitting free kicks. I mean, he was literally unstoppable. It was a moment where individual flair proved it could single-handedly win games at the absolute highest level. Section 3. The rise of compactness, the beautiful team. Let's move to 1970, where the coaching philosophy shifted dramatically once again, and the modern disciplined tactical block was truly born. You can see the generational shift right in front of you. The looser 1958 squad compared to the legendary 1970 squad. This 1970 team was famously dubbed the Beautiful Team. They went undefeated with 19 goals for and an incredible plus 12 goal differential. But here's the kicker. They didn't just win on individual flair like the '62 team did. They won through a completely revolutionary tactical concept. And this brilliantly illustrates the exact moment that concept arrived on the world stage. Compactness. Notice the spacing. The team now attacks and defends as a single, unified block. There's no longer this massive separation between the defense, the midfield, and the attackers. They move together as one breathing unit, choking out the opponent's space when defending and utilizing lightning-fast counterattacks and quick possession passing when they won the ball back.
Within this compact block, individual roles evolved again. Notice how Rivellino played as a false winger. Instead of just hugging the touchline all game, he drifted centrally to help the midfield. So what does that do? It's like a giant puzzle. It drags the opposing fullbacks inside with him, opening up huge running lanes on the left wing for Tostão and creating massive pockets of central space for Pelé to exploit. Honestly, it is tactical manipulation at its absolute finest.
Section 4. Fullbacks as attacking playmakers. Okay, pay close attention to this next part, because it's absolutely crucial to the modern game. We're looking at how fullbacks morph from basic stay-at-home defenders into the primary engine of the entire attack. Track this lineage with me over a 20-year span. In 1962, you had Nilton Santos. The guy was known as the soccer encyclopedia, innovating the position by actually having an offensive mindset. Then in 1970, Captain Carlos Alberto provided massive support from behind, just charging up the right flank. By 1982, players like Junior and Leandro absolutely perfected the overlapping run. The fullback position was completely revolutionized. They were no longer just defenders. They were essential, dynamic, attacking playmakers. So, the real tactical game changer here is Coach Claudio Coutinho's pioneer aggressive overlapping runs. Just imagine those movements pushing all the way up the flanks. Because midfielders like Andrade and Falcao could drop back and cover the space left behind, these fullbacks could push incredibly high up the pitch. They were absolutely terrorizing opposing wings and creating an overwhelming numerical advantage in the attacking third.
Section 5. Coaching the Beautiful Game, 1980s Systems. Finally, let's look at the 1980s domestic clubs to see how coaches perfectly synthesized that pure 1960s Brazilian skill with high-speed tactical discipline. Look at the precise spacing of the mid-80s Fluminense squad here. This team was fascinating. They had a rotating door of coaches. Actually, one was a former defensive midfielder, one a holding midfielder, and one was literally an amateur goalkeeper. Their playmaker, Assis, even joked that, with those coaches, they should have been masters of defense. And while they were, but their offensive velocity was virtually unstoppable. They perfectly married defensive solidity with rapid, lethal attacking movement.
The modern, beautiful game had become a repeatable, highly efficient formula. Step 1. Hold the compact defensive block. Step 2. Upon winning the ball, execute rapid, precise, short passes. Step 3. Link 3 to 6 triangulations directly towards the goal without a single interception. They maintained possession and just exploded forward before the defense even knew it hit them. So, as you lace up your boots today and head out to the pitch, ask yourself, are you just going to rely on pure dribbling like those isolation players of the early 60s? Or are you going to master the tactical block, understand your shifting responsibilities, and combine your individual brilliance with a cohesive, unstoppable system? That is how you create your own beautiful game. Thanks for stepping into the film room with me today. Now get out there and put it into practice.